What's happening, guys? Aradhya Gupta here from Internal Combustion. Today we are in conversation with Dhruv Mehta. He happens to be an amazing automotive photographer and is still pursuing photography as a hobby as well as a profession. As a hobby when it comes to automobiles and as a profession when it comes to real estate photography, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a crazy car enthusiast. So yeah, we'll be getting to know his viewpoint on cars and how he shoots cars and what goes on in his mind while he's shooting cars. What's up?
Hey, all good?
Finally I get to see you
Yeah, after a long time.
after a long time, after multiple follow-ups.
Yes.
Otherwise तुम्हारे पास time होता नहीं है.
हाँ सर, ऐसा कहाँ है?
Anyhow, so I think looking at your past experience in automotive photography, my first question to you is that why did you choose cars to shoot at first? What is it about cars that really fascinated you? Ki yaar, chalo, let's start shooting cars.
Well, I think it's just not me, and every guy is fascinated with cars. That's why the series like Fast and the Furious and things like that, they go around. But for me, I've been a car enthusiast since my childhood because my dad was one. Like he used to drive amazingly and sometimes he would drive fast. I don't know if I should say that on video or not. I'm sorry, Dad, but you do drive fast. And that's where it got into me. And photography का शौक हमेशा से था. So why not club both of my passions?
But there has to be something that when you saw a car and what age was it that when you saw a car and what about that machine fascinated you? Ki yaar, I want to shoot.
Okay, I don't remember this, only my dad tells me. When I was little, I think maybe 2 or 3 years old, I used to remember the name of the cars because dad would keep telling me, okay, ये Contessa जा रही है, ये Ambassador जा रही है, मारुति हमारे टाइम पे वही होती थी गाड़ियाँ. And although there were 3-4 cars, but 2-3 साल की एज में I used to remember their names because वो shapes ना मेरे mind में छप सी गई थी. I'm just naturally fascinated with cars. I'm just like, oh my god, these lines and the curvature, the designing, the styling, ever since cars came out. मतलब अभी से नहीं, I still appreciate the cars that were in the 70s, 80s, like straight cars, boxy cars, but there was something about them.
Clearly.
Yeah,
Clearly.
that just fascinates you. Even now, if I like, even now my fanciest drive would be अगर मैं अभी भी खरीदना चाहे, I would go for a BMW E30 because boxy design है, but there's something about that shape. It's iconic.
E30 is which year is it? E30 if I'm to
I think 80s
or any of our known people have an E30 that I can recall.
No. I saw one E30 when I was shooting on BIC.
Okay.
I think that was my first shoot on the circuit, and there was some guy, he was coming back from his run. I think it was dark blue.
Okay.
And I cannot remember the name, or maybe I don't even know the name of that guy.
Okay.
But that was just like, मतलब मेरा हाथ ही नहीं उठाया यार कैमरा, मैं बस देखता रह गया. I was just like that. मतलब मेरे हाथ में कैमरा था यार, मैंने शूट भी नहीं किया. It's just like I was just so stunned कि वो गाड़ी सामने थी. I can't even believe कि मैंने वो गाड़ी देखी है.
I think that's also the case. I mean, I'm not saying anything negative about any cars because every car has, I think every single design out there on the road, it has a reason why it was made.
Yeah.
But I think personally, me and you, I think both of us, we are fond of straight lines.
Yeah.
Which is why I think you have this kind of a machine and you did not end up buying something like a Hyundai or probably any other Korean or a Japanese company car because it's too curvy. It's not, and I think the Japanese and Koreans, they believe more in curves and not in straight lines in terms of design.
Yeah. Could be because of the aerodynamics, or could be because it's pleasing to the eyes of most people. But I would actually go for a straight car, not a curved car.
So coming to the next question on that is why the Skoda Rapid, or should I say why the Skoda?
So me and my dad, we both went out, took test drives of multiple cars, even the Volkswagen counterpart. Which one is it?
Skoda.
No, the Volkswagen Vento.
Vento, okay.
We even took test drive of Vento, but something about Skoda felt better. I mean, they are practically the same companies. Skoda is making their car somewhere else, and Volkswagen, I think, is in Germany. But something about this felt solid, and the handling on this thing is insane. I mean, for Indian roads, it's like more than enough, more than power that I could ask for. And it was like love at first sight, or love at first drive, I would say. We took test drive for both petrol and diesel, and the turbo in this car, it's slightly heavier than the last one, the last Rapid.
Okay.
I think that one was 105 or 107 bhp. This is 115 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, slightly. They made the turbo slightly bigger. The engine is the same, but the turbo is slightly bigger.
So has that led to any kind of lag
There is a bit of a lag
compared to the earlier one?
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't driven that much, but एक दो बार मैंने drive किया, but I felt कि थोड़ा सा इसमें lag ज़्यादा है, but when that push comes ना, it negates everything. It just goes like a rocket.
And is the gearbox? This is a 7-speed.
7-speed DSG.
And the earlier one was a 6-speed.
It was a DSG. 7-speed.
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 Oh, okay. I think Murshid had the previous one also.
And the new one.
Right.
He would be a better judge कि किसमें power ज़्यादा थी and the lag is more in this one.
Probably. So Murshid happens to have a very, very fond memory, or should I say not a very fond memory with his previous Skoda.
Right.
So we'll be talking to Murshid probably in one of our coming videos. He is also a very, very hardcore Skoda fanboy, and it'll be a pleasure talking to him. So as a photographer, what are some of the most memorable moments you've captured in your career that really stand out to you, and why, from the automotive photography standpoint?
The first experience, like my very first experience was, I think we were shooting one of my friends' 3 Series on the roads of Gurgaon.
Okay.
So I was in the trunk of the car in the front. I think that was a Palio Adventure, the weekend version of the Palio.
Okay.
Me and my friend, we were in the trunk of that car, and the guy was just driving.
Okay.
And that was next level experience. I mean, एक डर भी था कि भाई एक खड्डा है और मैं गाड़ी से बाहर होऊंगा और उस गाड़ी के नीचे होऊंगा.
But if I remember the Palio trunk, it has a bucket.
It has a little bit of a bucket.
Okay.
So, you kind of just falls into it.
Okay.
But still, bumps आ रहे थे ना, हम लोग पूरा उछल रहे थे. We could have fallen out any time. But I think it's the momentum that you'll go with the car and things like that. But that was my first experience. It was quite special. I mean, like, that was something that we were doing somewhat professionally, because panning shots, those are called panning shots, where your subject is absolutely clear, but the background is blurred out because of the motion.
Okay.
The cars are driving at around 50 or 60 kilometers per hour. Your shutter speed is a bit low. So only the car is in focus, and the rest, everything is like blurred out and like is going like that. So you get that, like when you see those photos, you get that.
I think it's called a speed burst or something like that.
Yes, panning. Panning is like mostly.
Achha, side shot you mean to say?
Panning was side shot bhi hai, plus if you motion blur it, it's also called panning, I guess. I haven't heard another word. Okay. So yeah, that was quite special. But the best of the best moment would be when I was shooting on the track BIC, the Bodh International Circuit.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we got permission to go on the tracks, but we had to stay behind that safety line. And we were shooting from there. I had a long lens. I think it was 120 mm or something. Okay. So we were just shooting cars going by, and you know, that sound of engine, that roaring of engine, and then they just slammed on the brakes, and the car would go like.
So it was one of the track days, is it?
It was one of the track days, yeah.
And where exactly were you standing, if I am to recall? Which corner was it?
Actually, those were multiple corners. एक तो parabola था. So I did a shoot there. Okay. And then the U-bend, I guess. I think the U-bend was it. I was there. And
U-bend is the last corner, is it?
The second last. I think the
second last. Yes, second last. Yeah.
The last one is like a little less. The second last was U-bend. Right. And a couple of panning shots on the straight. Okay. So straight, you know, it gives you much more room to pan. You just go like, the camera is here, you hold the shutter button, it goes on burst, tuck. Right. You take 50 shots and hope to get one good shot. Because panning mein you can't really just go like one click and done.
And which camera were you using that time?
D750 Nikon.
D750. So what is the firing rate on burst mode?
I think in RAW it's about 7.5 bursts a second.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So yeah, in 4 to 5 seconds, 7 seconds, you get about 50 shots, and like 1-2 shots of those are good. And if not, you can always composite, because sometimes it happens कि rear end तो focus में आ गया, but front end is not in focus. It's going slightly faster depending on the shutter speed. So you have to make a composite. Rear end एक photo से उठाया, front end एक photo से उठाया, you merge them and you get a clear shot. You can see those photos on my website. It's on there.
And I think being an avid drone videographer also. I think it's high time now you should buy an FPV. Considering you like shooting on Formula 1 tracks.
Yeah, but
because the current drones clearly cannot follow a car at that speed.
I don't think even an FPV would. I mean, maybe on Benz, I think FPV goes at the maximum speed of 65, 70. But, yeah. It's not that fast. The Inspire, I think the Inspire 3 that just came out, it goes at 97 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
So that would be able to catch up, but the price is crazy. Like, I can buy a car in price of that drone. I think in India it's about 12 lakhs or something.
Really? I thought FPVs are a little comparatively cheaper than the normal Mavic
Inspire is not
drones.
FPV. The DJI Avata, it's gonna be cheaper.
Okay.
The latest FPV that came out, it has built-in propeller guards. If you crash it, it's not gonna do much of a damage.
Right.
The Inspire is like cinematic Hollywood level cameras.
Right. And that cannot fly that fast.
So yeah, that's even that's like 97 kilometers per hour, the new one that came out.
That's respectable, huh?
On sports mode. So yeah, maybe that can catch up, but let's see.
But tell me one thing, you would know as a drone pilot that I mean, considering that, for example, which was the fast one you mentioned, the drone?
The Inspire 3.
No, the other one.
Avata.
I think that's even faster than the Inspire.
No.
Okay. So regardless of all of that, is there any kind of difficulty in licensing for these kind of drones compared to standard drones?
Not really. So in India, everything is dependent on the weight of the drone. So if you have a drone that weighs less than 250 grams, it's in micro, and then above that is small, up to 2 kg, and 2 kg and above is micro. No, 250 gram and less is nano. Then it comes micro. Then small.
Yeah.
So all the photography drones, it's gonna just fall in either small or micro, and nano, of course, Mini 2 and all are nano.
Right.
I'm not very sure that if you have an Inspire or something, and the government would be like, okay, this is an expensive drone, or this is a very high quality drone, you have to pay extra for licensing.
More than that, I think if the drone is extremely fast, you have to be equally responsible for flying it.
That's true.
You could create a havoc in the middle of the road if you're shooting, for example, cars at that pace.
Yeah, but then in that case, like if you're shooting on the roads, you would have to get necessary permissions. The cops will be there, and they might even close off the whole road for you to shoot. And it's a bit of a hassle to get these kind of permissions in India. I mean, there are some specific companies that I've talked to, and they can get it done. But again, the permissions are crazy expensive, and it totally depends upon the client if they want to go for it, if they want to do that kind of a shoot and want to shell out that extra money for just permissions. And they can range up to like 2 lakhs per day of shooting just in permissions, nothing else. Then the drone rental would be additional, and the pilot fees would be additional, and the models and the cars, whatever is coming in. So it's one of the expensive ones in terms of all the expenses that you're going to do.
Okay. So this question is actually for all the budding photographers who are now wanting to start their career in photography and probably focus on automobiles. Is that how do you approach capturing the essence of a car in your photography, and what do you think sets your work apart from others in the field?
Okay, so first things first, like how you go about shooting the cars. It's not just you pick up a camera and start shooting. For first maybe 10-15 minutes, I'll just walk around the car, see what angles are best, look at lighting.
Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out. If you like it, you shoot it.
I think both our wives are extremely annoyed with us because of that reason.
And
at the same time, they are happy. कि चल ठीक है गाड़ियाँ ही देख रहा है ना.
हाँ बस ठीक है. सुबह मुझे परेशान करे बिना निकल जाता है.
नहीं, more than that, I think even if there are, I mean, sorry to use this language, but if there are a few attractive women and there's a Lamborghini or a Skoda or any other good-looking car, we would end up looking at the car. So that's why our wives are extremely happy कि चलो ठीक है. That's okay.
And probably make comments क्या body, and the wife would be confused. She would actually be confused. लड़की की बात कर रहा है, गाड़ी की बात कर रहा है. So yeah, just walk around, look what you want to see. Like from standing here, I would just take this shot where the Skoda logo and the tail light is. It just creates for something, just something unique and something which creates excitement, curiosity. Like, I want to see the whole thing. It's just one part of the car.
Like, if I'm to put it in perspective, that you said you are more of a straight lines guy.
Yeah.
So, if I'm to ask you that, how would you capture the straight line concept on this design or this machine?
This one, I would, actually stand about 15-20 feet away or maybe more and use a zoom lens and shoot it straight on.
Okay.
Like, being exactly parallel to the car is the key.
Okay.
That's how straight lines become straight.
Right.
If you take it from an angle, it's gonna go like zoop. But if you want to keep the straight line straight, just be parallel to the car as much as you can, and a little bit can be tweaked in editing. But the key is to just stand parallelly to the car.
Okay.
That's how you get the straight lines to be straight, and that's how you get lines to just pop out.
Right.
And then go into the editing and just tweak the contrast, the texture, the clarity, slide it a little bit, and that's how you get those popping straight lines out. And that's the same thing in architecture actually. You just have to stand parallelly. If you're shooting a wall and there's some design on it, just align the grid lines. On camera you have grid lines, so just align it with the ends of the walls and you're golden.
One more thing I've observed, I mean, I also happen to be a hobbyist photographer, so I've seen many people, including myself, also do it, and I'm sure you would also do it, that we end up clicking pictures of machines from very different angles. For example, down low, bottom up, and the main reason, at least I do it, is that it gives a very different perspective to the guy who's looking at the picture, because from that angle you don't see cars on a daily basis.
True. So that's where the walking around and looking at angle comes in. So there's a law in photography. It works for everything, even if you're shooting humans, buildings, cars, animals. If you shoot something from down below, it looks huge. It looks something in the in the position of power. That's where you see, like, if you go like this and you take it from down below, it gives you a perspective of, okay, this person is a big personality. But the same thing when you take it from an eye level, it's like, okay, it's a normal portrait, but as you go high, it just diminishes the subject. So down below it expands the subject, up it just diminishes the subject. That's the same thing that girls these days are doing in selfies, just going like this, क्योंकि उनका face पतला लगता है, jawline, face पतला लगता है, body पतली लगती है. The same thing. It's like the law of photography. It works in everything. If you want to diminish something, take it from a higher angle. If you want to show what exactly it is, take it from an eye level, like literally the eye level. And if you want to enhance something, make it look big, make it look powerful, you get down low.
And I think that's the reason why when we shoot some of these big SUVs, we shoot it from down low. Like it would be a Thar, or it could be a, I don't know, Safari, or any of the Land Rovers, because that's their personality. And I think when it comes to a car like this, at least what I would do is I would do something like a top to bottom approach because of the soapbox design.
Exactly.
One last question. Looking at the changing scenario in the entire automobile industry, as an automobile enthusiast, what is the most exciting change that you're looking forward to?
Definitely in terms of design. Like the new BMWs that came out, they came out with crazy design. I mean, at first look, that big ass radiator grille, that वो आँखों में खटक रही थी, but now it's like
not everybody understands that.
But now the more you look at it, the more you can appreciate the beauty and what BMW did to those cars.
Boss, I'm really falling in love with the new i7 and
man,
beautiful design.
I saw that iX on the road, the grey iX, and it looks futuristic.
Initially I thought it's a bit weird, but then as in when I saw it more frequently, I was like, this is amazing, this is nice.
So that iX was ahead of me for like 2 minutes on the red light. I was like, what the hell did they do? And I was like, okay, they did something nice about it. And I went home, saw the photos, and I was stunned. I'm like, this is like a spaceship, man. This is so futuristic. This design is just next level, and that's what we can see in future. Even with Maruti cars that are coming out, the Fronx that you've seen, it's not Maruti at all.
It's a brilliant design. The Fronx is a brilliant design. I feel the Grand Vitara is also one of the finest machines that they've brought out.
Exactly, Grand Vitara and the High Rider that came out from Toyota. That design, I fell in love with that design.
And personally, I feel in terms of designing, Volvo is doing a brilliant job. Volvo Polestar.
Oh yeah. Yes.
These guys are crazy with designs.
Yeah, Volvo has always been very functional and very to the point. You're like safety है, security है, सब कुछ है, design भी अच्छा है, सब ठीक है. But
उनके design का, if you've observed one thing about their design, unlike all the other automotive OEMs, that Volvo comes out with a design and that design stays for 10 years at least.
That's true. It's not like they are coming out with a facelift.
No. They'll probably make a few tweaks inside the car, but outside of it, it will remain the same for 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you nail the thing in the first step. Like the new Baleno that came out. Yeah, the design stayed same for like 3-4 years, and even when they did a facelift, they didn't change the shape, they just changed the headlights and taillights because that design works. Right. They nailed it in the first step. They can't do anything better about it, and it works. So yeah, but the things that are coming out from BMW and Mercedes giants like these, I think they're going to shape the industry. And Lamborghini, Ferrari, they are of course going to stay ahead, and they're beautiful machines. They can even make a car ugly, and we would still fall in love with them just because of sheer power that they bring out. And it's a Ferrari, man. It's a Ferrari.
It is.
So you can definitely work with that.
It is for sure. Like Ferraris and Lambos on one side, and Porsche is completely humble and subtle on the other side. But then again, both the machines on both, like Pagani is another example altogether.
Yeah, it's all, they make futuristic cars. Like
very futuristic cars. But now when I see that each of these design concepts, they have a beauty. There's a beauty in its own self.
Yeah.
Like Porsche, that design language coming out of that old Beetle, it's still the very same design language they followed, and I love Porsche for that.
Right, the Porsche has that base design language since forever. I mean, if you look at all the cars, you won't see much of difference.
Cutting in the middle, but Porsche, I feel, is one of those brands which has retained that oomph about their machines.
Right.
Personally speaking, I'm sorry if any of the Ferrari and Lambo fanboys feel bad about it, but it's a very personal opinion, as we are talking about cars in in a general sense.
Yeah, and it's our opinions.
It's our opinions. And Ferraris and Lambos, I feel they have kind of lost that oomph. Lambo had that oomph when they had the Diablo, they had the Murcielago, they had the Countach.
Right.
Ferrari had that oomph up till the Enzo. For me, my personal favorite Ferrari at any given point of time, even today, is the F40 and the F50. Hands down.
Right.
I mean, that to me is a real true blood, red blood Ferrari.
I think the new Ferraris that are coming out, they're definitely very loud. I think till 458 came out, the 458 Italia. I think for me that is the best one. Like if I could own it, I would own it in a heartbeat. But after that, the new Purosangue, the one that came out, I mean, it looks good, but doesn't it look like a Lamborghini? It's somewhat, the design is like Lamborghini.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think some people, like some companies are getting lost in design somehow, that they're just going in one direction. All of them are going in one direction.
One direction, yes.
So yeah, definitely. I think they lost their design language. I shouldn't say lost, but got deviated from their design language. Long back with those Ferrari Enzos and F40s and Countach. But I mean, Lamborghini still had that. Still, I think they still have that thing from Aventador. When the Aventador came out, and then now Urus that came out, they look kind of similar. But Ferrari, I don't know what Ferrari did. I mean, it's a 4-door. It's the first 4-door and 4-seater. It would be a heaven sitting in that and driving that car. But I think the design language, they got deviated, and if they get back on it, the Ferrari and Lamborghinis, they can get back their oomph, and let's see what's in the future.
Well, I think all the new guys, they seem to be all the new generation of people, who are probably 7-8 years younger to us. They seem to be loving these new design concepts. I really admire that. Maybe there is something about these new machines that me and Dhruv, we are not able to understand as of now, but maybe we will sooner or later. But you know what? It was a pleasure talking to you.
Same here, man.
And these discussions will continue, and probably we'll sit down another day and have another cup of coffee and let's talk about another topic apart from what we spoke today. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Pleasure talking.
Same here, man. Same here.
This is Aradhya Gupta signing out, Internal Combustion. Take care and see you in the next one.